Look, there's no doubt that the 2022-23 Premier League season is going to be tremendous. We've already seen some really outrageous signings from the top end of the table, and now we've seen the likes of Aston Villa and Newcastle get better and better and better with quality signings, young players that are hungry, experienced players that want to develop even further and help the youngsters get better. But there is one thing about the transfer window, about the preseason period, that just irks me to my core, and that is transfer sagas. Now, I'm sure you're not living under a rock. It's 2022. You have Twitter, you have a phone. You probably have subscriptions to a lot of journalism services that cover the world of football. So I'm very sure you're aware of the Frenkie De Jong transfer saga that has been drawn out, has been overplayed, overhyped. Erik ten Hag, who is a serious admirer of Frenkie De Jong, and I'm not surprised. Like I said, he is an excellent midfielder that can progress the ball from deep-lying positions. He's kind of the guy that Manchester United need. Now, I know the need is for a center back, the need is for a winger, the need is for a striker now that Ronaldo wants to leave the team. But Manchester United fans haven't seen a progressive, deep-lying playmaker since the likes of Michael Carrick. Frenkie De Jong would be an excellent choice in that number 6 holding position for Manchester United. But the fact of the matter is the deal is not getting done. Now, from a neutral perspective, you could say, well, he doesn't want to come to the team. From a Manchester United perspective, you could say he's holding out for money for Barcelona. Why don't we just pay him this money? And from a Barcelona perspective, it seems like the club just wants money. They don't care if he leaves or if he stays. They just want money. They don't want to pay him what they already owe him. Now, that's a conversation that we can get into a little bit later, but I want to identify the 3 major players in this whole transfer saga that has made it into one of the most redundant and kind of annoying transfer sagas we've seen in a very long time. Now look, Manchester United are not new to transfer sagas, and they are the first player in this entire thing. They just aren't efficient when it comes to signing players. Getting deals over the line before the season starts seems to be a real issue, especially in the more recent years for Manchester United. Now that is a product of course, Ed Woodward, the Glazers, certain transfer speculations that come about for Manchester United, or I should say a lot, because they seem to be linked with every single player in Europe every single year, which is kind of a fault of the team because they do find talent and overpay for talent when they don't really have to. Now that definitely will change with Erik ten Hag's new regime over Manchester United. He's going to bring in a new philosophy. He's going to have expectations, not just only of the players, but of the board, of recruitment, of the owners, the Glazers. He's going to want them to make sure that this club is in the best possible position to win, whether that's signing players, whether that's performances on the pitch. That is his job. Now, I'm not going to sit here and speculate on my own as if I have sources within the club, but having this issue with signing players too late into the window can really affect you going forward, whether it's commercially. Now, Manchester United are still a huge club, even though they've fallen out of the graces of the top 6. Frenkie De Jong has already made it clear time and time again that he doesn't want to come to the team. Manchester United want him to sign. They want to reunite him with Erik ten Hag, which I think would be an excellent signing. I think on paper it looks fantastic. But when we go into the second player in this whole debacle, which ironically enough is Frenkie De Jong, he doesn't want to join. He said it multiple times that he'd prefer to stay at Barcelona. Now the problem here lies within Frenkie De Jong's mindset and his emotions towards staying at Barcelona and his emotions at joining Manchester United. Barcelona have Champions League football. They can offer Frenkie De Jong solid Champions League football. Manchester United do not have that. What Barcelona don't have is money. Barcelona can spend on players, but they owe a lot of their current players deferred payments, which is odd. I don't understand how you can keep spending when you know you owe players a lot of money. And Frenkie De Jong is one of these players that is being affected. According to reports, he's owed 17 million euros from Barcelona, which is kind of sad. Barcelona is a huge club that shouldn't be holding out on its players. Once again, I don't have sources to talk to about the club's mindset on that ideal, but it is just my opinion, and I would love to hear your opinion in the comments as well. But Frenkie De Jong has told Manchester United and the media multiple times that he doesn't want to join the club. Wouldn't you think, as a rational, beautiful human being that you are, wouldn't you think that at that point it's time to look elsewhere? Stop wasting your efforts and energy on a player that clearly doesn't want to sign for you when there are players in the Premier League that can do the same job that Frenkie De Jong can and have already had that Premier League experience. I'm talking Ruben Neves. I'm talking Yuri Tielemans. Now, Tielemans can't be expecting Champions League football because Leicester can't even offer him European football. Wolves are in the same boat. So it's kind of interesting that Manchester United haven't turned their heads to these players that have proven themselves time and time again in the Premier League. Now, Ruben Neves doesn't necessarily have the pace and never-ending stamina of N'Golo Kante, nor does he have that aggressive captain-like material of Jordan Henderson. But what he does have is excellent technique on the ball. His passing range and vision is next to none in the Premier League. I think Kevin De Bruyne, Bruno Fernandes, even on his day, those are the type of players that you would expect an amazing pass, something that you've never seen, top drawer type thing. Ruben Neves can play that pass. He's also a magician from set pieces. So if Manchester United need a player that can hold the ball, control from deep, slow the game down or increase the tempo, Ruben Neves is one of those players. Yuri Tielemans is another one of those players that can play, whether it's, in the 8 box to box, or if he's playing a little deeper, he's playing a deep lying playmaking position. Yuri Tielemans has proven that he can do it. I think Manchester United needs to understand that, okay, you've agreed a fee with the club, but if the player doesn't want to come, you really do want to avoid another situation where, the player thinks he's bigger than the club. We just saw Paul Pogba leave for free after Manchester United sold him to Juventus for free. I guess can't even say sold. They let him go to Juventus for free, re-signed him for a ridiculous transfer fee, and then just let him go back for free again. You don't want to see a situation where in the next 3 years, Frenkie De Jong, who never wanted to come to United in the first place, is leaving for a free deal back to Barcelona. You don't want to see that again. That's poor transfer market decisions, poor transfer market activity, whatever you want to call it for Manchester United. There's options in the Premier League. There's options in other leagues. The Serie A has a plethora of holding midfielders that could do the same type of thing that Frenkie De Jong can. I'm not knocking De Jong's talent. I think he's one of the best in the world at what he does. But I think it's just really futile to be trying to wait on a player that doesn't want to join your team. That being said, there's one more player in here that I'm not sure if you know or if it was very obvious from how I worded it. But the last player involved in this whole transfer saga is the media. I have not seen the media struggle so hard to report on a transfer more than I've seen Frenkie De Jong. Now, I get it. You want to be right. You want to be fast. You want to get it out there to the loyal fans that follow your publication or follow a broadcast or follow you just as a journalist in general. But how can one day Frenkie De Jong wants to join the club and the next day he never wanted to join? How can the same journalist or same publication put out articles daily that go against and contradict what they posted previously? It's really interesting to me. It's kind of unfathomable to see that when the whole point of a journalist's job is to seek the truth and report that truth. Not seek the truth and whatever you find, you report. Because then the next day you could be in trouble. Whatever you posted recently could get contradicted within minutes. Now, the major journalists that report on football news, David Ornstein, Fabrizio Romano, have kind of just been redundant. I think these are the most respected football journalists in the world at the moment. But they're not putting out updates. They're putting out the same information over and over, which frustrates a lot of people, including other media and other journalists and other fans and people who just love the game. I think it's really frustrating. For example, you'll see tweets like this one being posted on Frenkie De Jong's willingness and openness to joining Manchester United. Then a day later, maybe not even a day later, you'll see tweets like this one, where Frenkie De Jong is saying he's never wanted to go to Manchester United, or he's saying it was not an option. He's always preferred to stay at Barcelona. So what is it? What is the truth? And to me right now, from what I see, the truth is that De Jong just doesn't want to come to Manchester United. And that's okay. It's one player out of how many in this world that could do the type of job that you want in that holding midfield position. I just think this transfer saga needs to come to an end. Either De Jong flat out says, I am not joining Manchester United, or Manchester United need to just move on and find a better option for cheaper. His price tag is hefty, Maybe you could sign Ruben Neves for 40 to 50 million pounds. Maybe you could sign Yuri Tielemans for 40 to 50 million pounds and still get an effective, efficient central midfielder or defensive midfielder, whatever role you want to play him in. Now, despite that being a pretty annoying thing in the transfer window, we've seen a lot of good deals happening. We've seen marquee signings, of course, but one thing I've noticed is teams really need central defenders. We've seen a lot of center backs move from club to club. More recently, we just saw Kalidou Koulibaly join Chelsea, which is an amazing deal. I mentioned in a previous video how that is going to be something worthwhile for Chelsea, having someone of his caliber come to the Premier League. He's physical. This is a physical league. He's quick in his decision-making. He's an excellent tackler of the ball. Chelsea with Koulibaly just took the next step up. And on top of that, they've signed Raheem Sterling. So Chelsea do mean business. I think seeing all these center backs move, we see Lisandro Martinez signing for Manchester United, which I think in the long run will be a good deal. I just think it's really interesting how this is kind of the transfer window for center backs. Matthias de Ligt getting rumored to join Barcelona. So I think it's incredible to see that there's a real need for a defensive leader in these teams. And lastly, this is something that I'm actually proud of to see from an Arsenal team, an Arsenal perspective, that they're really trying to strengthen their team. They just signed Gabriel Jesus. They just signed, I think it's Fabio Vieira, not too long ago. They're making strides in trying to better their squad and better their chances of getting into the top four. And now they're being linked to Zinchenko from Manchester City, which would tremendously improve their quality. I think Nuno Mendes is not a good enough backup option to Kieran Tierney, who unfortunately has injury problems. Zinchenko coming in offers you a lot of versatility, offers you a lot of technique, offers you a lot of security. Watching him play for Manchester City, he could really make that left back spot his own entirely if it wasn't for João Cancelo's just emergence as the most complete modern fullback. But going to a team like Arsenal, where he could play in that left back position or he could play in central midfield, it gives Arsenal a lot of options. I think him coming in, them adding Jesus, them adding a central defensive midfielder, I mean, Arsenal, they seem like they mean business, and that is what you want to see from an Arsenal perspective. Now, don't worry, we're going to talk a lot more about teams in the Premier League and what their chances look like this season with the signings that they've made, with the mentality and the tactics and the identity that they employ. This is going to be one of the best Premier League seasons in history. Mark my words, I can tell just by the intent of some clubs. I can tell that even the bottom teams are going to be fighting with all that they have, not even to just stay up, but to just enjoy their football, to beat the Giants. This is going to be a great season. Just mark my words. Mark my words. Let's just hope that there's no more transfer sagas after Frenkie De Jongs.